What's up, everybody? Welcome back to day -4. So, as I said yesterday, today is the last day in regards to the events of this story, at least. You know, everything I've talked about in my past vlogs, have all led up to this moment. I'm going to talk about the last day that I ever saw Chrissy. The last day before she moved back to Georgia. So, if you recall from yesterday, I did my best to get her to stay. I said everything I could that I thought would help her change her mind, and when it didn't work, it sucked. It was, especially after all the hyping up of myself that I had to do to try to stop her. It sucked. I felt horrible. It was very hard for me to come to terms with the fact that my best friend was about to leave and there was, nothing I could do about it. I struggled with it for a while, and by a while, I guess I mean really a few hours. Not really. I really struggled with it even after she left, but, by that morning when she was gonna leave, I figured that, even though I felt pretty bad, I felt pretty bummed about it, I figured that with all that we've been through with her, with the two of us, I should say, that, I owed it to both of us to, at least see her off, to at least say goodbye. Because I'm pretty sure that even though, I was pretty sure that even though she was leaving because of me, that she didn't want to, not say goodbye, at least. And especially if she's moving to Georgia, because, I didn't know the next time I was going to see her. And, when I just got to their apartment, I already saw Rios, in shambles. I already saw her, crying. I don't want to speculate, but I like to think that, it was really tough for Rios. It might have been tougher than it was on me, really, because, I had known Chrissy for a year. We had dated, definitely, so we were close, but, Rios was Chrissy's best friend. They had known each other for a really long time. So, I guess technically she could always go visit her in Georgia. It's not like, she didn't have a barrier between them like Chrissy and I had. There was a physical barrier, but there wasn't an emotional barrier, I guess you could say, between the two of them. But, when I finally at least decided that I wanted to say goodbye, I knew I had to say something. I had to, I knew I had to at least even if I couldn't convince Chrissy to stay, that since I didn't know the next time I was ever going to see her, I knew I had to, say something from the heart this time, instead of something memorized like I did the previous night when I tried to convince her to stay. And so as Chrissy was like loading stuff in her car, we were talking, and I just told her, I was like, I told her that despite the fact that the two of us ended our relationship on not that great of a term, that we had obviously gone down fighting, literally, not, you know what I mean, that I didn't regret for a second that we had met each other that year ago at that point. I told her that that even though it didn't work out between us, that she was always going to hold a special place in my heart, and that, she was my first girlfriend. She was my first a lot of things. And so, it was sad. It was definitely sad to see her go, but I told her that I knew that she was leaving because of me, that she didn't want to see me again, but that if she ever needed anything, that I was there. I would do whatever I could, because I figured that was the right thing to say, that that I would still be her friend even if she didn't want to be there, or I would still be there for her even if she didn't want me to. And I basically really just poured my soul. I let it all out there, because that was it. I knew that was going to be, I pretty much knew that was going to be the last time that I would see Chrissy, because I knew that there was way too much damage between us for us to ever be anything anymore, even friends. But I was pretty sincere in that offer, to be there if she needed me. But I knew that wasn't ever going to happen. There was just too much secrets. There was way too much stuff that got in the way between us. And I like to say that I wish that Chrissy had said something like, really anything, to show at least an inkling of how we used to feel for each other. But all she did was, she hugged Rios, she gave me a hug, and that was it. She finished packing her things, got in her car and left. She took all of her stuff, which, by the way, was really weird because she had a lot of stuff and she didn't have a very big car. So for her to drive from Houston to for her to move from, back to Georgia is just Anyway, that was the last time I saw her. She drove off after that, and that was it. That was 4 years ago. Plus a couple months. Well, plus a month-ish. She broke, that was the last day I saw her. Beginning in March 2010. And, it did suck for the next few days after she left. I knew that I kind of pat myself up by saying that, I know that a lot of couples, a lot of relationships end up badly, but at least, with me and Chrissy, at least we were pretty cordial. We didn't, obviously we verbally fought, but we never did anything beyond that. We, it didn't end as bad as a lot of people, and their relationship with other people too. So, I took solace into that fact that even if it was the tiniest bit of possibility that there was still definitely some kind of chance that something could go back to normal one day. There was still that small sliver of chance that one day Chrissy would be okay with being friends again. But yeah, that's really it. That's the end of that story, really. And for the next 3 days I'll be talking about why this story was important and a little more. I've said it before, but I'm going to expand on a little bit of why I wanted to do this story. And the last day I'll basically just sum it up and talk about the time in between 2010 and 2014. I'll wrap up the story. But thanks again for watching. You've been watching from the beginning. I definitely thank you from the bottom of my heart. Even if you've only watched a few, or even if you've watched just today, if you stumbled on this video, I still definitely thank you. It really does mean a lot to me. But until next time, see ya.